Yeah, it's funny, Matthew, because when we do these open segments to start the show, it's normally because, I've got really strong feelings on something that's going on in the sport and I, want to have this outlet to share it. But, today I can't help but feel a little bit conflicted about this. Not because I don't think Katherine Legge is ready. I think, like you said, she's got a ton of racing experience, but I look at her NASCAR and stock car resume specifically, and Bob Pockrass already confirmed that she's approved to run. NASCAR cited her Indianapolis 500 experience in the last couple of years, and also doing the ARCA race in Daytona. I think that played no small role in her getting the green light to do this. But just looking at her stats here, 5 Xfinity Series starts, obviously the ARCA race at Daytona earlier this year. And I can't help but think back to the fact that, like you said, Danica Patrick, the 2018 Daytona 500, it's the last time we've had a female driver in the Cup Series, but it shouldn't have been. Jennifer Jo Cobb was supposed to make her Cup Series debut for Rick Ware Racing at Talladega in 2021. NASCAR didn't approve that. And Jennifer Jo Cobb, again, say what you will about what happened in the fall Truck Series race that year. I will still stand by my opinion that NASCAR has approved far more controversial things in the past when it comes to drivers making a Cup Series debut. I understand Jennifer Jo Cobb does not have the resume necessarily of a bunch of wins and championships that would make her qualified in the eyes of some people to run a Cup Series race, but she has the experience. She had been racing in the National Series for a decade and a half at that point, and she was the highest finishing female Truck Series driver for 9 years, and that was a race that took place at Daytona on a super speedway. So I saw no reason. If it had been the playoff Cup race at Talladega, maybe that's a different story because there's higher stakes. And if this for Katherine Legge were the championship race at Phoenix, maybe it's a different story because there's higher stakes on the line for other drivers in the field. But the fact that it's a spring race before the playoffs, everybody's got to start somewhere. So I have absolutely no problem. And like you, Matthew, I'm actually very excited. I think Katherine Legge is deserving of this opportunity. I don't expect her to win. Obviously, it's an open car and it's a Cup debut for somebody who still doesn't have a ton of NASCAR National Series experience. So I think for her, it's just going to be about going out there and gaining that experience and running the best that she can given the equipment that she's in. But I think she's a more than competent enough driver to warrant a start like this. But having said that, it is hard not to think back to a few years ago, and it still leaves a bit of a sour taste in my mouth that we never got that Cup Series start from Jennifer Jo Cobb. And I don't know. I know Rick Ware's running that open car for Corey LaJoie this year. Maybe there would be a track where she would be approved to run. I still feel like NASCAR owes her the opportunity to run a Cup race before she decides to hang up the helmet for good. But in the meantime, for Katherine Legge here, I'm excited for her to get this opportunity. And it is nice to have a female driver back behind the wheel of a Cup Series car again, even even if it is just for one race here. But I'm with you, Matthew. I couldn't help but think back to the Indy 500 the last couple of years, and obviously everybody's been talking about Kyle Larson doing the double. Wouldn't that be something if Katherine Legge could pull something like that off? Obviously, Kyle's got all the Hendrick and McLaren sponsors and resources. I feel like that would be exponentially harder for somebody like Katherine Legge to pull off with the teams that she's competing for, and the backing that she has in comparison to Larson, I'm sure is a shoestring budget. But it's good to see her in the Cup Series nonetheless, and I wish her nothing but the best this upcoming weekend in Phoenix.